Just as the term is not limited to only industry or health, it's also not limited to just one type of martial art. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel. Welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast number 220. Is it 28 or 29? I have two things here. I think it's 29. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support the program, please visit jkdrebel.com, click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you'll see stuff like this. The ever popular, I was watching Glenn in a video earlier today wearing just this t-shirt. The ever popular 4 tenets of Jeet Kune t-shirt, long sleeve, short sleeve, sweat, hoodie, coffee mug, all that good stuff. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune broadcasts. So, can you remember where you were when you first heard the term pressure testing as it relates to martial arts? I am fairly sure, speaking for myself, I'm fairly sure I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and he was saying that it's only in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that you can pressure test your technique without beating the crap out of your training partner. And I immediately thought, wait, that's not true. What is he talking about? So, of course, as a JKD fanatic and a JKD nerd, that statement didn't sit right with me at all. Because I don't know about you, but I secretly resent, and I would certainly never admit to this in a public setting, like a live stream on Facebook. I would never admit that I secretly resent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coming along and knocking Jeet Kune off the perch of immortality upon which it rested for almost 2 decades. You see, because some of you might not be aware, but back in the glory days of Jeet Kune, the 1980s and the 1990s, the art pretty much sold itself. Magazines, you could say, made their bones right on Jeet Kune. So the art sold itself as it's called the go-to, right, or the avant-garde martial art for practicality and functionality. So as an aside, when BJJ came along, it's not surprising then, right? So understand what I said. In the 80s and 90s, Jeet Kune was the go-to art for practicality and functionality. So it is not surprising that later on, some JKD people begrudgingly investigated BJJ. Speak for yourself, Dwight. Some people enthusiastically looked into it. Some people embraced it completely. And I think that anyone who ignores it completely, right? So you have some who embrace it completely, and I think you have people who ignore it completely. That last category, they're making a big mistake. Okay, so but I will never admit any of that publicly. So back to pressure testing. So additional terms which are associated with that term itself are like resistive partner or resistant opponent, resistant partner or something, as well as contested technique. And to me, those terms, yes, immediately they elicit images in a grappling scenario, right? That makes sense completely. But when I thought about it, I had this realization, well, if that's what it means to pressure test, right? If it means to contest the technique, if it means to be resistive in some shape or form, then Jeet Kune has been doing that all along. Let me explain. I'll head away from grappling for a little bit, but then I'll do a Pisaki styled circle back, right? By the time I'm done. Okay, so let's say I'm feeding you the focus mitts. If all I ever do is to hold them in a fixed set pattern for you, then I am being 100% cooperative, aka non-resistant partner, right? But what if I hit you first, force you to defend, and then hit back? Am I still 100% cooperative? The answer for me is yes and no. Yes, if again, we default to a fixed set pattern where people are just trying to do the moves, right? The answer is no if we introduce some element of the unknown into the drill, along with a certain mental intensity, kind of what Bruce Lee might call emotional content. Because focus mitt drills can be offensive, they can be defensive, or they can be a mix of the two, which we call counteroffensive. And it's that last category of counteroffensive that contains the idea of resistive, because in a counteroffensive drill, I'm going to try to hit you, and it's your job to stop me. That's resistive. Now, when we add the context, let's say, of you know what I'm going to do, but you don't know when or how I'm going to do it, then that makes things entirely more interesting. Okay, so now circle back to grappling. And here I'm not talking so much about a jiu-jitsu setting as I am about a JKD grappling setting, okay? So simply put, to be more of a resistive training partner, don't give your partner the limb or the attachment, make them find it or make them gain it. So this can be done as a drill that incorporates striking and grappling. Can be done with the focus mitts as well, although I will be the first to admit that doing this type of stuff with the focus mitt it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, right? But it can definitely be done as a glove drill. One person in boxing gloves, the other person in finger gloves, or both people in finger gloves, depending on how you structure the drill. Another aspect beyond this not giving him the arm or the attachment, in order to be resistive, is you add the counter to the technique. So in addition to not letting him get his technique, you actively try to apply your own technique instead, your counter technique. And again, be advised, this doesn't always mean grappling versus grappling. It can be grappling versus striking, or striking versus grappling, depending on how you want to look at it. And all of this that I just described is pressure testing, and it is not new. In Chris Kent and Tim Tackett's book, Jeet Kune Kickboxing, in the intro, you read, in 1970, Dan Inosanto greatly influenced the curriculum. So they're talking about the Junfan Gung Fu Institute curriculum, which was moved out of Chinatown into Inosanto's backyard, right, in 1970. So it says that Inosanto greatly influenced the curriculum by adding Filipino boxing. And then this is what they say: it added more sophistication to the Western boxing, and it added the ability to drill realistically and combatively without each student bashing in the other's face in every workout. So if you understand what that means, it's saying that the Filipino Panantukan improved the survivability rate of the heretofore hardcore Jeet Kune Do sparring approach, which apparently sounds like Bruce Lee's all-out full contact thing with the equipment was a little bit brutal. Right? So adopting a subtler approach can greatly improve it. In fact, right, and I have conducted this experiment myself, adopting a subtler approach to this type of drilling, even kids can use this method, right? And we certainly don't want kids bashing in each other's face in every workout, now do we? Right? So then if you take this, we could call it a little bit further. It's really just in the same direction, but just maybe a different vehicle. If you add the sophistication of what I call, Box Français's 5 rules of engagement, then you can take this idea even a little bit further, right? So please drop this idea that pressure testing cannot exist outside of the grappling arena, right? You just have, like, to paraphrase Chris Kent, you just have to learn how to train intelligently. And in so doing, you will realize that you can apply this concept of pressure testing across the board to all segments of your martial art training, right? Keep in mind that with Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee, we can say that Bruce Lee always preached that there is never to be this idea that there's only one way to look at things, right? He always reminded us to keep, kind of like to keep our eyes open for ways to use whatever ideas can help us in our own martial art personal development journey, so to say. Okay. All right. So what say you? Did I open your eyes to any new ways of looking at this pressure testing thing? All right. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. And that's all I got to say about this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, and on Instagram. It was easiest to just go back in as Dwight D. Woods. See, what a lot of people never realize is that my original Instagram was connected to my Facebook, and Facebook is Dwight D. Woods. This is Dwight D. Woods, no period, on Instagram. But if that doesn't work out, then I'll probably change it to JKD Rebel. Right. In any case, I have been rebuilding it under that moniker, Dwight D. Woods, and it's working out fairly well so far, right? So that's that, Twitter, and Journey Volume 1, available at paypal.me/unifiedma Miami, the raw but edited version. Coming up on Friday, May 27th, will be Jeet Kune Do Dialogues with Mike Wolf of, I'm pretty sure it's Martial Strength Training Academy, right? I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'll have all that fixed within a couple of days if I'm wrong, right? So that's Friday at 6 p.m. Today's beige, brown, or pink day. There you go, right? So hopefully I'll see some of you Friday at 6 p.m. If not, I'll see you next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe. Talk soon. Take care.